So sometimes you might ask, if I'm staying put, how can this be my first investment property?
Moving forward with the Decker team. Moving forward together with the Decker team.
We've enjoyed for 30 years, not only helping people buying, selling, and investing in real estate, helping people also build their finances, which I guess is part of the investing thing, but it goes a little bit deeper, helping people build their fun, helping people build their faith, and even strengthen, heal, and flourish in their relationships. Technically, 30 years of helping people have an even better life.
Yeah. So I think I hear in-law apartment or ancillary apartment, because in-law
or carriage
apartments.
house.
Carriage house is a different thing.
Be careful.
Yeah.
So what you're saying? Be careful.
Well, be careful with your language because they mean different things. And sometimes an in-law suite can't have a formal kitchen, right? Whereas an ancillary apartment may be able to have a kitchen. You really got to check with your local bylaws and zoning for your property, right? Whatever city or
municipality you're in. So what you're going to learn in this episode is, as we continue on Suzanne's journey, is what things has she explored that maybe you want to explore too, if you're thinking, I could keep my current property, make it my investment property, and either stay in part of it or leave it altogether, which we considered as well.
Absolutely.
And we felt more lucrative was to stay, probably, unless you end up with what? Going into a property and
going, ooh, that's nice.
Is that it? That's all you're going to say?
Like
that's
fireworks.
nice.
When there's fireworks.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, the irresistible. I have the picture in my mind. I know what it looks like, but I haven't seen it yet.
It's a bit of a mansion.
So if we walk into that, then you may shift gears. And so right now we're following your journey. And what you're saying is there may be twists and curves and turns.
Well, I think for me, I always think that it's important to stay open, like to have a focus and a plan, but stay open to possibilities, because you never know when something's going to land in your lap.
Right.
So
what preparatory work have you done so far with the idea of building an ancillary apartment in your house?
One was Yet and I just walked through my place and did some brainstorming, which was really helpful. And we looked at like what could be done, and really found out it was really quite simple to put up a wall, finish a bathroom, and those sorts of things.
And the space is already there for the bathroom.
Right. It's already
so essentially everything is there. It just was locking one door and opening another door and having access. If you ever wanted to turn it back into a single family home, it would be easy.
Yeah, it would be basically opening a door.
Yeah.
That it was that
unlocking
simple.
a door.
And so one of the things, I also have a friend who is a home inspector, and he's done work in my home as well. So I sat down with him and kind of brainstormed. And what he said is, like, it can't be a full apartment. I can't put in a full kitchen.
We can't.
No, I can put in a kind of like a
hot plate, kitchenette, they call them.
That sort of thing.
Yeah, hot plate, no oven, but you could put in a microwave or a convection microwave.
Right. And so he said it, it's really doable. You'll definitely be able to rent it. And one of the things that's really cool is he said, let me come by and do another walkthrough, and we'll talk some more. So that was really, really cool in terms of just knowing the parameters of where I was starting.
Right, because it's all dependent on, if you're listening to this, your zoning. So you want to connect with your city or municipality to figure out, and you can find so much of this online now too, just to figure out what your options are. Because maybe you have an R2 zoning, maybe you have an R3 or an R4. And you can do different things, right?
And I think the thing about having a guide, and this was key for me, was those may not have necessarily been things I would have thought up right up front, right? I might have gotten to them at moments I didn't want to get to them. And I think what it was having guidance allowed you guys to say, well, let's look at this, think about that. Like even walking through, and yet it was pointing out different things and pointing out, this would have to be taken care of and this would have to be checked. it just made it so much simpler in terms of they were my blind spots, and we all have them if it's not our expertise. And so for me, it was like, yeah, okay, let's check these things. But again, clarity and clarity. You know, it's almost like we take another step and it becomes clear. We take another step, it becomes clear. I have a question. It's getting on the phone and having experts to answer that question versus me, one, doing legwork. And I don't know about anybody else, but the internet has a lot of answers and a lot of them aren't true. So you're just like,
Right.
whoa.
It was that quote, we are overfed with information, but we don't necessarily have knowledge.
Right.
Because how do you disseminate all that information? People go, well, there's all the answers are on the internet. Yes, they are. But how do you find the right
answer?
answers?
And the right answer for me, given my circumstances. And because you know me, you can speak into me from a knowing versus a guessing.
Right.
Right.
And one of the things we talked about is just why even move if we're going to move for something inferior. It's not just an exercise in futility. It's an exercise in building money through your property.
And I got to say, I appreciate that, because you could have easily said to me, well, yeah, you know, you need to move. This is how it happens. And you're going to get 2 properties. But you were willing to say, well, let's 1, look, 2, let's crunch some numbers. Let's look. And I think the thing that you talked to me about that I was like, oh, let's look at the tax implications. Let's look at all those things that often people find out after the fact. They've gone down the road and now they find out tax-wise they've got a problem, all these things. And to have that up front, it may feel like more legwork. However, I'd rather do the legwork beforehand than scramble and have to figure out what to do now that I'm in it.
And it is more like work.
Yeah.
And legwork is healthy because it means you didn't pay for the experience. Your time invested in doing the research was your payment, not lost money. I had a client just like about 2 months ago come to me, and he chose not to enlist a realtor with the help of buying this property to build a house on it for an investment. And then he came to me and told me about his beautiful plans and showed me the building plans and showed me the lot. And I went, oh, this is going to cost you a lot of money. And I didn't say anything because at this point he'd already done the thing and he did his research after, and we just sold the property because it wasn't
building on it.
Without him building on it, because it wasn't going to be economically sensible for him. It was going to cost him too much based on what the value was going to be after he did it.
And you know, that is key. I'm someone who has had a coach almost all my life. Like I've had a coach on almost anything I've chosen to do and grow into. I've gotten a coach, and they say that hindsight is 20/20, but I don't want 20/20 hindsight with my money. That's not the time to have it.
Yeah.
So I want to enlist guides who can take me on a well-planned journey and help me get to my destination. And I know nothing's guaranteed, but I'm going to ensure that if I can, I'm going to take that straight path.
That's wise, because there's so many things. We've had clients where they'll build an apartment and then find out it's not legal, and then you go to sell it and you can't sell it for any money, and it's just a bad road to go down.
Or they have to rip one out.
Yep. And then Eleanor Roosevelt said, it takes as much energy to wish as it does to plan.
So I think we're going to plan.
We're going to plan, get expert help to help you with your plan. Because I've also seen even my father build a house, which was just not resellable because he did the plan instead of having an architect do the plan.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're honored to be your advocates and your partners on this road of real estate and life.
Moving forward with the Decker team. Moving forward together with the Decker team.